it's hard to map out an entire palace or academy or whatever, especially when it looks like that. I don't have the bandwidth right now to go crafting Castle Ravenloft 2.0. But I do have at least a update of that map you guys spent most of the session dying on last week. Um, just to give you a little bit of a better sense of this area, or I don't know, it's about the same, but at least it's prettier, more a little more detailed.
Oh,
So
nice.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So you got the kind of small city that spreads out in front of the palace. You've got the ghost light. I'll go ahead and put that label on there. And then you've got the academy itself here, which is blown up, not super detailed, but at least it'll at least give you a sense of the layout of the place. You last week were in a spot of trouble regarding said aforementioned dragon, and the appearance of one of the Fey Queen's forms. I believe the only one you haven't encountered yet. In the form of the statuesque, icy figure that appeared and apparently commanded the dragon to stand down. And apparently also spared all of your lives. But to what purpose? When you reawoken? Reawaked? Oh, when you wake?
Awoken.
But is that the past tense?
I think so.
Oh, good, you're finally awake.
Awakened?
When you
Oh yeah, awaken's
I
a
guess
word.
when you awakened in a state of kind of confusion, you found yourselves in this grand lecture hall where numerous faces in training were engaged in studies on what it means to be a face, their role and their purpose. In fact, we'll throw that label on the map for you as well. After some trading of barbed words, you were offered to be escorted out of the hall to find somewhere where you can rest and recuperate a little bit, since you're all sitting at a meager 1 hit point. And so you are led by one of these faces who volunteered to lead you to a salon, apparently in the East Wing. And you're led along through a series of incredibly grand and opulent looking hallways with high ceilings, arched overhead, doorway after doorway leading off into various parts of the academy. And while the outside of the place appears to be constructed of ice, as you saw when you were first approaching, you can see that the inside is finely furnished with all manner of luxurious materials, fine-looking handcrafted wooden furniture and plush velvet rugs and carpets and tapestries. If you peer behind the numerous wall hangings, you might notice that behind all of that, the walls do still appear to glisten with an icy sheen, but it seems as if every effort has been made to sort of cover that over with all of the trappings that you might expect of the grandest palace in some southern realm. As you're making your way through the halls, or rather, as you're being led by this face, is there anything in particular that you guys are doing besides following along until you reach the so-called salon, or anything that you're looking out for or trying to do?
Um,
Okay.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. I was just gonna say, Ryland is most likely just very actively observing everything that we're walking by, looking for any, maybe any secret passages or any clues about what's going on here specifically. Really just looking for any kind of insight into this whole place as a whole. And just making, like, mental note about the navigation of it.
Okay. Yeah, you can see as you pass by that there are these great big panes of, well, it's not glass, you realize, but actually thin sheets of ice that are so thin they are transparent. And even though they radiate cold at you as you peer out, you can see that there seems to be a sort of central courtyard here with what looks like some sort of sculpture garden or something in the middle. Um, there are staircases that lead both up and down to various other levels. You can see that sometimes you're walking through wider open spaces with balconies that overlook them, doors that disappear into the upper heights of the palace. Um, Go ahead and give me a perception check.
If we are also actively looking around, can we roll perception?
You can.
I forgot to pull up my character sheet already.
God damn, Ryland. Okay.
Vengeance, as you are walking the halls, you can't help but notice that you pass by several more of the faces. They seem to be the only people here, as far as you can tell. You don't see anyone who doesn't bear the characteristic Fey Queen look. And it becomes a little bit disorienting over time as you continue to just see what seems like the same person over and over again. Somebody walks past you, and then a moment later you'll see another person come out of a door, and it looks almost like the same person. You're not sure if it is the same person or just someone who could be their twin. And it starts to make it a little bit tricky to figure out how all of these rooms and halls connect to each other, because you can't tell when you're seeing repeats or new people. But Ryland, as you are keeping your eyes peeled and your ears, you hear the sound of distant laughter of several young women apparently chatting and even apparently amused by something. You cast your gaze in that direction and you only catch a momentary glimpse, but you think you see through an open door as you're walking past long rows of beds, each of them with their own sort of uh, space divvied up by curtains or blinds that have been stretched out to create individual sort of spaces, give a little privacy. But you think that that looks like some sort of dormitory. In fact, there's probably more than one room like that around here, you guess, as you make your way around the bend. What about
That probably spur Rylan to ask our guide. Just how many of you are there here?
She turns and smiles back at you, demurely, and says, "I'm honestly not entirely sure. It's hard to keep track."
I couldn't imagine.
You mean you got she doesn't assign y'all like a number or something?
Well, no. There's, I suppose, no need for numbers or names.
Huh, I don't know. I just always, reckon people who have an inventory or something always keep track of how many there are.
Well, if somebody is keeping inventory, it isn't me, and I couldn't tell you. I'm afraid I haven't been here that long.
You seem to have earned the trust of that mean woman in there, though.
I don't think it's a matter of trust. I mean, what could you do even if you wanted to?
Oh, I mean, if I really wanted to, I'd probably turn this place into a Bastion of Eldad, but, that's beside the point.
Never have I been in a place that I have hated so much. And I wanted to tear it down. Ice brick by fucking ice brick. She's saying this in Zdarl, very, under her breath. I guess Kat would be looking for, exits and guards and any kind of security and, trying to, wrap her head around this whole situation as well. Because to her, none of this makes any sense. How do they keep track of how long who has been where, and how many lessons have you gotten? When are you ready? But she would ask the guide, how long does it take for one to become a full face, to be assigned to one of, to actually act in her stead? Or be taken as her as her face.
Well, I suppose it depends on the face to be. We each have our own curriculum, you see, and we all learn in due time. I believe some of them have been here for years, being made ready. Others, I think, take to it more easily and are graduated and sent out to fulfill their duties. Some others I know of have already received their badge of office and are full-fledged faces, but they remain here to help conduct lessons or to, I suppose, manage the newcomers. It can take some time to adjust and to do whatever is required of them.
Have there been any other faces that have not borne the same countenance as yourself? I hear Anton Sobel is a I don't know if laureate would be the right word.
I I'm sorry, I don't know that name.
I see. That was a go. That is okay, girl. Where is this salon?
It's just round the bend. It's a little bit further. I know it's a big place and it can be a little confusing at first, but if you'll just follow me, I'll get you there. It's quite lovely.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorite places in the academy.
And why is that?
Oh, I don't know. I find it reminds me of home.
Really? And
Oh,
where was that?
she says that she kind of shakes her head and I'm sorry that I didn't mean to bring that up.
No one is going to say a thing. I mean, look at this. I'm carrying a teacup shiv.
I'm basically a demon over here.
He is basically our pet, yes?
You know what reminds me of home? Home.
Think of it as a refresher, yes? You must need to know the geography of the realm. Tell me about the area. Are you Huzut? And she changes over to Huzut.
um, she gets a little uncomfortable looking. And she says, it's not something that we're ordinarily permitted to discuss. But you guys can give me a persuasion roll. You can pick one of you to give me a persuasion roll. Since
I got it. I got it. And I'm gonna just throw panache in there just for shits and gigs. We will know everything. And it's just my persuasion roll, right? Yeah.
She can't even beat that with an insight check. So has disadvantage on attack rolls and against targets other than you. Can't have to.
It's like a charm thing at the bottom.
The creature isn't hostile to you, is charmed by you for 1 minute. While charmed, it regards you as a friendly acquaintance. There we go.
He is very charming. Have you seen those big puppy dog eyes? Behind the horrendous beard
Yes.
he grew out of
Yes.
nowhere.
The no pupils is very calming.
Vengeance, might I just say that I really like that beard that you grew. I think it makes you look more manly.
That sounds very backhanded, but thank you, Cat.
It makes you look How is that backhanded? What?
Well, it implies I didn't look like a man before.
I didn't say that.
That's how the phrasing sounds, Cat.
What phrasing?
Anyway, she was about to tell us something.
Just it's not something we ordinarily talk about, but then again, I suppose we don't normally have guests. So, if I remember my etiquette lessons, it's rude to turn down a topic of conversation. So, I suppose that it wouldn't be so bad for me to tell you. I came from Minivere. That's where my family was from. That's where I grew up.
Cat,
Have you ever been?
Isn't Menevere that place we're in the process of taking?
No. Yeah, it is Kimingrad. Minivir, I'm looking at the map. Give me a second. I don't actually remember where that is. Is that the... Oh, it's Vladivostok, basically. Like, all the way in the far east. That is where we, entered the realm of the Fey Queen. Everyone except Vengeance. But, you know, Vengeance we value all the same.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now. I mean, I know it's been a couple weeks. It's kind of forgettable.
I mean, I remember the hats. They had very large hats.
It was they do call it the gateway to the realm, uh,
Hmm.
and I always thought it was so interesting. I remember uh, all sorts of people would come through there, strange folk from uh, from Xantum and from further east, and
Hmm.
I always felt so lucky because I remember other people traveling through from you know Yasil Oblast or Steppe Oblast. They would say that they'd never seen people like that before, and I got to see them every day. So it made me feel, I don't know, special in a way.
And I think that is perfectly reasonable. You know, I come from Visegrad in the Zdarl Oblast, and I didn't see any of them until I left home. And I left. I haven't been back in years. I come back, and I get to see all different parts of the realm that, honestly, I wish I never saw. But I'm glad that we have met.
I do miss it a little bit. It's not nearly as interesting here, and well, you see the same face every day, you know? I mean, the same exact face every day. Uh, it's uh, it's not as well. It's nice. She's kind of like thinking to herself, trying to figure out how to phrase it. I've never lived in such luxury before, and of course, I'm ever so grateful to the Fey Queen for elevating me to this station. But I I miss seeing the different faces. I miss my family.
Oh, well, you don't have to worry about seeing them again.
Was I the only one to hear that music shift? Was that just me?
Yeah. Only you're the only one.
No. Okay.
I've been trying to get music playing. I don't know why I can't hear it very well.
Oh, I
Oh,
can
Maybe
hear
man,
it.
that's a little that's
that's
more
some
like you're out on
spooky.
the tundra.
That's some spooky
Yeah,
music.
I was just looking for something that sounded cold.
Hmm, that doesn't bode well. But well,
Isn't there one called Ice Palace or something? I don't remember. Anyway, um, we can get, not that it matters too much because you know they all look the same. But I'll put one of the put a fake queen face out here. Where did my faces go? No. Fey Queen. I think this is the one that's got all of the tokens. Let's go with this. Um, and yeah, she's basically led you as she's been talking all along in this loop that follows the perimeter of the courtyard until eventually you arrive over in this section. And again, it's this palace is massive, and as you're walking, you just pass door after door leading into who knows what chambers. But eventually, she reaches one uh, somewhere roughly in the heart of this section over here, and opens it into a large, airy looking salon. You see these overstuffed plush chairs, a fire roaring in a hearth, and paintings. Numerous paintings, which cover the walls. Have you ever seen in like old time like palaces or castles where it's not just like one painting on each wall? It's like they're stacked on top of each other. They're 4 or 5 vertically up the walls. It looks like that, and it's it's they just completely coat every wall, every inch of open space. Um, but as you step in there, you see that somebody has already uh, prepared what looks like a midday meal, um, and you see a piping hot bowl of some sort of stew and some hearty-looking bread and some fine roasted meats and such that are all laid out for you. Big hunk of cheese, and she says, "Well, it looks like you're welcome to enjoy a little afternoon repast. Is there anything else I can do for you before I return to the lecture hall?"
Did she have any reaction to seeing the food? Out of curiosity.
Hey,
Hey.
Not really any that you notice. No.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Sorry I'm
what's
late.
up?
you're good.
Did we all die again, or what's going on?
Yes.
Great.
We
Nah,
got raised again.
we're just being led around. We're about to enjoy afternoon tea in the salon.
Um, Out of character question, because it might be known already. Do they all get picked because they look alike, or is that something the fake queen does to them, or
I'll get picked as far as we know.
You have to have some resemblance.
gotcha? Okay, never mind. I'm good then.
But as we also have found out, um, there were faces that also happen to be nobles or like noble daughters that were picked, and we also know that Anton Sobel was a face.
Actually, no, fuck it.
Still a face.
As she goes to walk, I guess away, Vengeance is gonna like stop her slightly and just be like, same as before, like, you can tell us if you're in danger, right?
She looks at you and she says, "Danger? What danger could there possibly be here? I am here, held close to the bosom of the Fake Queen herself. We are in her very home. There could be no safer place in all the realm."
I mean, you would think that, but the last time we met the fake queen, they killed her in the castle. The face, that is.
I've also seen the fake queen kill kill a lot of people, a lot of many.
Oh, and drop them in swords. That's another thing she can barely do. You know? Very cool.
I
Gonna eat
imagine
this fucking food.
Imagine Cat's like yelling like for wherever her sword is, so her grandfather hears her.
Yes. Where is my sword? I'm getting increasingly agitated the longer I don't have it.
Is this an insight check to see if she's just saying it to say it?
You can make an insight check.
Someone else make it with me because I'm probably gonna fail. Oh, sweet God! I actually got a decent roll for once.
I don't know. I think she might be able to beat that 28. No. Just want to see how good she is. Vengeance you can tell that this is sort of a practiced line. It's almost as if the way that she says it, especially the like we're here held close to the bosom of the Fey Queen, like it sounds rehearsed. It sounds like she's like practiced this. And she's pretty good at it. She's pretty good at making it sound natural, but you can tell, you can read the tells that say that this is like she's rehearsing it from memory. Clearly, something she's repeated to herself many times. Ryland, you can also, of course, obviously tell that this is for your benefit, and you don't get the sense that she's like immediately frightened for her life or anything like that. Like she's acting like somebody has a crossbow pointed at the back of her head or something. But you get the sense, especially you, Ryland, that she knows things that she's not letting on.
Vengeance is just gonna like give like a reassuring like squeeze of her hand as he brings his hand away and just be like, fair enough. Like he didn't pick up that it was a lie.
Tell your lecturer, whatever you call her, the elder, yes? Tell her that we want you personally waiting on us. And you alone.
She smiles and does a little curtsy. She says, I'm deeply flattered, but I'm afraid I don't have any say in the matter. I will tell her your wishes, though.
Good. Dawaj.
And she'll leave you there in the salon with the food laid out and the got to be at least 100 pictures on the walls as you look around.
You know, Kat, if we have to stare at these pictures all day, I'm gonna need more of this emergency wine you have.
That is actually a good question. If you look at my inventory, I do have, conveniently, an inconspicuous bottle of wine at the very bottom of my inventory that I totally didn't just add. Do you think I could have snuck that past the fake queens thing? People? Strip search?
I mean, you were unconscious at the time that they brought you in.
If not, it's cool. I was just wondering. I feel like that's something Kat would have.
Do you think you like normally keep that hidden on your person?
Yeah.
Like even as you're just wandering around adventuring, you've got a hidden bottle of booze.
In my
Like
boot.
any true alcoholic would.
In that case, if you think that's reasonable for Kat, sorry, I could give you a retroactive, I guess, a sleight of hand check. Usually what you use to hide things.
Sure. She probably wouldn't put too much effort into it, honestly.
Yeah, you just tuck it. Normally, you just tuck it into your like your jacket there, your uniform, and you go to reach for it. You find it's been removed.
Son of a bitch. And then just forget about it.
Damn it.
But I guess Kat would just, if she's not flipping over tables in anger of being stuck here, I guess she's looking at the walls and seeing if she knows anybody. If it's not just the same face.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of different things here. Some of them are portraits, and every portrait that you see is an image of the Fey Queen. But not everything is a portrait. Mixed in with them are paintings of animals. Many of them look like indigenous species to the realm to you, Kat. Some of them are landscapes of various views all throughout the realm, all the way from east to west. You recognize some of the skylines as cities you've visited along the way. Others are unknown to you, but they all bear the distinctive look of the realm. Others are still lifes. They look almost like practice pieces where somebody has painted a bowl of fruit and a bottle next to it. And still others are like rough charcoal sketches. They're not even finished paintings. Some of them are watercolors, some of them are oil paints. I don't suppose you happen to have any artistry tools, do you?
Artistry tools? No.
Or any
no.
proficiency with such a thing?
The only thing I can think of would be history.
Um,
I'd imagine with like a noble education, she'd have some basic, like, knowledge of painting or some sort of art. But I think she probably focused more on martial things as a kid.
Sure. You know what? Give me a history check. I think that's fair.
Let's see. Jesus, I have gotten nothing but 8s this entire time. That's the third 8 I've gotten.
And with different modifiers too.
Oh, God.
uh
This does not bode well.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, obviously you spent much more time focusing on your combat training, your dueling and your horseback riding and things like that than you did on any sort of artistry. The most you can tell, Kat, is that the skill level demonstrated in these paintings varies wildly. From some that look incredibly kind of rudimentary and simplistic, they're getting things like perspective wrong and shading. And in other cases, you see incredibly detailed, almost what you would consider to be like masterpieces that are hanging on the walls. And all of them seem to be given equal attention to like detail. Each of them have these incredibly elaborate baroque looking gold leaf frames and such. There seems to be no like distinction between the simplistic ones and the elevated ones.
Cat is going to guess that that's probably an indication that these were all made by the different faces of the Fey Queen at some point. And she'll just kind of she'll just like mutter something about that out loud, and I think she's going to spend at least, if we're resting here, she's going to spend most of her rest like walking around, looking at paintings and looking around the salon idly, not really paying too much attention unless something kind of jumps out at her.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, is there any paintings of Mr. Anton Sobel?
There are a healthy number of portraits that are scattered in amongst the others, but all of them look to be the face of the Fey Queen.
Can you guys fill me in? What has we been doing? We just stuck here in this room, or what?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, so basically, we just got a little bit of a in-depth look at what the academy looks like. We just, I don't know if are you seeing the updated map?
Yeah, I see the map.
Yeah. Basically, we just went in a circle from lecture hall, saw a statue garden out in the courtyard, the dormitory. We talked to our guide a little bit, and she filled us in on some like smaller details about what it means to be a
Have
face.
we attempted to kill anyone yet?
No, no, not yet.
And
Not
and
yet.
if not, why not?
Because we were
That's a-
information gathering and we all only have 1 HP still.
That's an excellent question, and
Oh,
honestly,
we haven't rested. We've just gotten a tour.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think the worst part about this is none of these people are really at fault. Like, like the only crime that any of these people have committed is the fact that they look like an image that the fake queen wants to project of herself.
They're complicit in our imprisonment.
That is true, but look at them. They're maybe what, 6 and 10, 16, or anywhere between 16 and 18, in their 20s, maybe.
Yeah, when you were in, as you've been walking through, the youngest ones do look like they're maybe around 16. The oldest that you've seen, besides the one who was giving the lecture, look like they're maybe in their mid to late 20s.
I mean, so we're the Nazis, but we don't pity them.
That's true. They all seem like victims to me, and it makes me
So we're the
incredibly
Nazis.
angry that I can't choke anyone.
Yeah, I got it.
Is your answer just gonna be the Nazis?
No, no. I just think that Seven, for his own reasons, is probably extremely opposed to the idea of being held prisoner.
Yeah, I
So
also...
I don't, I guess maybe, maybe he's been, sort of brooding, perhaps sulking the whole time, but you can tell that he's a pot ready to boil over. He looks quite agitated, perhaps.
Well,
The real question
either
is, did
way,
they take Seven's suit?
I assume they took everything. I assume I'm naked.
They they've left you with your mundane clothes, and that's about it. In
They
fact,
took all my they took all my jewelry, everything.
did they at least fix my jacket?
Did they take?
that was one thing I was going to say. Is actually, it looks like any sort of wear or tear on your clothes have been expertly mended.
Did they take my sunglasses?
Now remember, this answer will determine if he burns the entire building down now or later.
Melts. It'd be melting. It's ice.
There's wood and cloth in here. Fuck off.
Inside, which would be melted by the ice.
They are mundane glasses, right?
Yeah, they're mundane glasses.
They left those on your face. They didn't seem to think that they were any sort of issue.
Well, I guess at least I don't feel naked then.
You know, out of curiosity, Zaychik, how do you see with those when it is very dark? I've always kind of wondered that in the back of my head, but you know, you look so fucking cool, so why would I ever I'm not objecting. I'm just, just asking. You know?
I'm blind.
I'm sorry. Did you say you were blind?
Did you believe me?
Kat looks like she's believing you for a second. Kat takes a lot of things at face value. Like there's like no sarcasm detection is not in her repertoire.
Well, Seven just gives you a very toothy grin.
Oh, you get to whatever. Okay. Okay. Here. She's gonna look for like parchment or anything else that she can find, and maybe like if there's any charcoal or something like that she can write with. She's going to attempt to start drawing a map of what she remembers, and she's going to ask Vengeance and Ryland and Seven to, and Nimue, of course, to pitch in and see if they can remember what, like, a basic layout, so we have a space to plan.
threw a mouthful of probably a muffin that was on the table. Okay, I'll help.
Okay. But yeah, she's probably gonna take like a piece of charcoal or like coal from like the fire, and she's gonna start like rubbing out like an actual map, a rough map of, you know, what they've seen so far. Okay. Hmm.
So I believe if you're attuned to an item in D&D, you don't actually get untuned from it if someone removes it. You can't really use it, but it's still technically attuned unless it gets 2 miles away from you. And I believe you know if you're attuned to an item. So am I able to tell if the items I was attuned to are now unattuned, i.e. more than 2 miles away or forcibly broken or something?
You still seem to sense your attunement to those things.
Right. Well, at least there's that. I guess Seven would at some point mention that our things are perhaps close or haven't yet been destroyed or something.
What did the elders say she did with them? Put them in a secure place in the dormitories? Am I remembering that right?
I believe that's what she said. Yes, dormitory.
Hmm.
Anyone
And
know where the dormitory is?
she's gonna point to the thing on the map, the dormitory over that way. We know at least she told us that our equipment is going to be most likely stuck there behind a safe or maybe tucked away.
Oh, if it's just behind a safe, I can get through that.
With the one.
That's true. Yes.
What?
How are you going to get through it?
I'll figure it out.
I mean, did they give us a fork?
I believe you have oh, you mean to eat with?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a meal laid out there, and there is silverware.
I believe fork tines can effectively become lockpicks.
Yeah, I can use this. I'm pretty sure good old Seven here could probably make that into a lockpick for me.
Cat already grabbed the knife.
Bad
What do you-
news.
The knife out.
What are you gonna do with that cat? Butter someone?
You're goddamn right.
What is your bad news, Seven?
Without my items, I'm effectively unable to cast anything, even a cantrip.
Oh well, I guess I'll have to make do with a knife and a fork.
I can punch somebody very hard. Very hard.
Kat, you've been sort of, you said you pulled out this charcoal and you're trying to sketch out a map, trying to like make a plan, and you've kind of been sketching things out. As you're talking with the others, your hand continues to move across the parchment, and you suddenly sort of realize that you've been continuing to make markings there even when you weren't thinking about it. And when you look down, you see a crude rendition of a woman's face.
She throws down the coal and she's like, okay. Sorry, I just need to get up. And you see Cat just like walk off, and she's deep in thought, just staring out a window.
Cat, I didn't know you had such talents.
I have not drawn anything in a very long time.
Is the face she drew the fake queen's face, or just like do we not recognize the face?
It's rough, but it's clearly that face, yes.
I think we need to get the fuck out of here sooner than later. So we gotta go to the dormitory, get our shit back. I think that's a great idea.
I think we should rest first. As much as I hate the idea that we are stuck here in this place, and I don't. I think we should rest and get some of our strength back first, at the very least. Perhaps in an hour or 30 minutes. And then we go out and we find out more, and find our equipment, and get out of here.
Okay, if that's what you want to do, we can do it. But if you start looking like a fake queen,
Nope. You better not draw no face, Cat. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I would look good as a blonde. Does anybody know any image software online where I can change Cat to a blonde, by the way?
Midway through the session, just all of a sudden she's blonde. Wait a minute.
So you guys gonna pace the room as you try to recuperate?
Sounds like a plan, yeah.
All right. You're armed with cutlery and a rough sense of the arrangement of this place, at least certain features of it. And you begin to count by the minutes. Give me one
Oh,
second.
shit, there actually is a blonde cat out there. That's really weird.
All right, just give me 1 second here.
Oh no. Your hair's just gonna grow too.
It's kind of fucked up, bro. It's kind of fucked up.
yeah, Max. The cabins also have a hot tub.
Oh, nice. Fuck yeah.
Oh, I know where I'm lounging drunk.
Oh god, am I gonna see drunk Nick Pat in the hot tub? Maybe living together isn't a good idea.
You know,
I want
with
you
a
to know,
little,
dude.
with a little hair dye, Cat could pull off the fake clean look. It's not far off.
Yeah, ain't that weird?
Um,
When you say it out loud like that, that's cool. I think Cat is very aware of that right now.
especially with like all these portrait renditions on the walls, it has to occur to her that like they don't look that dissimilar from herself. Like she's a little, her face is a little different. She's maybe a little bit rounder, a little less angular, but
Cat's chunkier.
I think she takes pride in that at this point.
I mean, let's be fair. Cat probably is a lot more active than any of these people.
She's probably a lot more buff.
You're
But,
goddamn right, she is. What's the strength score on some of these faces?
10, 11.
Probably 20, baby. Cat's buff as fuck. She can bench press these people.
At some point, as you're sitting there in the salon, there's a couple of doors in and out of this room. The one that you entered through that leads back out into the hall. Another one that looks like it leads to the southeast, kind of in this direction. You know, let me use the little arrow that might Where's my little arrow tool? Where the heck is the arrow tool? I haven't used it in so. What is it? The ruler tool? There we go. You guys can see that, right? Yeah. So there's like there's one that looks like it leads in that direction. One that's kind of back out into the hall the way you came in, and another door that leads off this way. And as the group of you is sitting there, you're maybe about 40 minutes through your rest. You begin to hear voices singing. It sounds like it's coming from the northeast there, through that door. And it's clearly many voices singing in a choir.
If this couldn't get any fucking creepier.
Can someone go hit the fucking snooze button, please?
I mean, does it sound good?
I mean, does it sound good?
Yeah, I mean it's a little muffled. It's many voices, but they do seem to blend pleasantly together. At some point, you hear the melody break out into like a 3-part harmony, and yeah, it's actually rather nice to listen to. Pleasant music, if a little bit on the somber side, the actual song that they're singing.
So, you guys think most of them are in there right now, so we can probably move around?
How long has it been?
You guys are starting to feel a little bit rejuvenated. Probably just another 15 minutes or so. It'll be good.
Would it be breaking our rest, do you think, if we walk down out there?
I mean, just walking around won't break your rest now. So if anything else should happen.
But yeah, what?
No, not you.
I am getting sick of just sitting here. Can somebody go with me to slap me if I start singing?
I mean, that may give us an opportunity to get out. If you start singing.
Oh, well, thank you.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Come on, I'll go with you.
Okay, I'll go with you.
No, I'm going with you.
Okay, I'll lead.
As is your job.
That's my card.
No,
Excuse
as
me?
is your job.
As is my job?
Yeah, you're a commander, ain't you? That's what you do? You command things?
At this point, I don't even know if the army that I commanded is... Whatever, let's just go.
The two of you are planning to take a peek through that door and see what you can see. When you suddenly hear a sound that makes you pause. You turn around and stare at Vengeance as he is idly humming the same tune that they're singing. Doesn't seem to be quite aware of it at first, but when he sees all of you staring at him, he just stops.
Why are you guys looking at me?
Slap him.
What? Why? What'd I do?
I I'm not gonna slap Vengeance. He's got it bad
I'll slap
enough.
him.
Why are you trying to slap me, Cat? What did I do?
You mm, nothing.
You didn't happen to catch yourself humming that little jaunty little tune they're singing there?
I wasn't humming anything.
Oh, well, you were.
Vengeance is just gonna look extremely confused. I wasn't humming.
Okay, but you were. It's you don't have to lie to us. I mean, we just looked at you, and you were humming. So it's kind of a far-fetched idea here that you weren't humming.
You were humming, Vengeance. I heard it. It's me, Soren, by the way.
That's
I'm
Soren.
also here with you.
I know
Hi,
someone's good.
Soren.
Why the fuck was I humming? Okay, yeah, we need to fucking leave. What are we doing? Out of character, what are we actually doing?
I was gonna look at the singing. But what were you gonna do?
I guess look at the singing with you.
All right. You guys head in the direction of the singing. You try the double tall door there that leads to the northeast, and it opens. It leads into a long hall, which has no windows, but mirrors on either side that reflect back on you in dizzying repetition. You see yourself reflected back 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times into the depths of the infinite mirrors. And Marlon, can you give me a perception check?
Ow.
You of course see yourself kind of doubling, tripling, repeating off into infinity, each reflection getting a little dimmer and a little fainter as it goes off.
Is this reminding me of when I fell in between those little the sections inside the portal? And I fell in that like infinite prism thing?
You know, it's not exactly the same, but it does sort of trigger that memory for you. Maybe unpleasantly reminiscent of that. And you swear for a second, out of the corner of your eye, you catch movement somewhere in the depths of the mirror that does not match your own or your companions. But when you turn to look, you don't see anything but you staring at you, staring at you, staring at you, on and on.
This place sure does give me the heebie-jeebies, y'all.
Vengeance would like to yeet a chair at the mirrors.
I don't know what heebie-jeebies are, but I agree.
The heebie-jeebies are like worshiping someone for multiple years only to find out that she's a crazy serial killer kind of type person.
Oh, then yes, I also have the heebie-jeebies. Such a strange term.
Are you actually trying to break one of the mirrors, Vengeance?
Yes, I'm gonna yeet a chair at them.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Give me a strength check.
That while we're trying to sneak around and do things quietly, you're just gonna shatter a mirror in the middle of this hall. Or
Yeah,
not.
as you do.
No, I'm not gonna shatter shit with that.
Rather, you're gonna do it unstealthily.
You grab a chair. It's a little like heavier than you expected. It's high backed and has a lot of carved decoration on it. And you kind of heave it over and lug it in the direction of the mirror, but it sort of bounces off. It was more of you kind of rolled it in the direction of the mirror, like shoved it rather than threw it, and doesn't seem to have done much. Seven, are you accompanying the others as they go into the hall, or are you trying to finish your short rest?
I was trying to finish my short rest.
Fair enough. Yeah, let's say Nimue stays there for now as well. And honestly, Soren is not particularly keen on going anywhere at the moment. So the three of you proceed down this hall. There is a door at the other end, and you can hear the music getting louder as you go.
I would like to approach the door and try to sneakily open the door.
Sure. Give me a stealth check. You can roll a decent stealth check even without any equipment. You know, it just occurred to me that this hang on 1 second. That doesn't make any sense. Give me 1 second. Well, that does not improve the situation. Wonderful. What am I supposed to? Oh. Okay. There it is. The only thing we're missing are doors. So how the hell are you supposed to enter this map? Guess you're not. I guess they left it deliberately sort of blank. That's okay. You open the door quite quietly. It's a massive door, but as you're kind of sizing it up, you're like, it's probably very top heavy. It probably squeaks a little on that top hinge. You have to lift it a little bit to take the pressure off the hinge, and you give it a little shove, and it opens for you, and you find yourself staring into a high-ceilinged chapel, a massive space with a series of pews that extend row after row up towards an elevated altar. You can also, I sort of neglected to mention it before, but you can also hear organ music here accompanying the choir, and it thunders from somewhere up above, filling the space with sound. You can see numerous faces in the chapel, most of them seated at pews, apparently looking down to some sort of hymnal as they sing, and they are being led by yet another face who stands before a lectern and seems to be kind of conducting them as she too sings along. Trying to get you guys onto a map, but it kind of isn't working exactly the way I want. Let me just get your tokens on there. Cat and Ryland. advantages. And 7 can come along for the ride too, even though he's not there.
When 7 finishes his short rest, he'll join people.
Sure, of course.
Although he doesn't walk in the same way. He crawls along the ceiling stealthily as possible.
You can do that.
You just walk on the
don't know.
ceiling.
I'll have you there in 1 second. Sorry, this is taking a wee bit longer to set up than I thought. Thought I could just kind of drop you in, but no, I can't. Nope, don't grab that. I'm gonna reorder all my maps here. There is a door on the wall right behind you. It's just not on the map because apparently they didn't bother to include any doors on this map, so no. Kind of looks right. Doesn't match the perspective, but what can you do? Oh, where's the one who's leading them? Oops. She's a little older. And she is notably dressed a little differently from the others. Most of them are wearing these very well made, fancy looking silk dresses. However, they are all sort of identical. This same sort of almost lilac shade of purple that makes them almost impossible to distinguish from each other. This one who's up at the lectern is wearing blue robes and a shawl that's wrapped around her head.
I guess Kat is just going to lean against the last bench and listen.
Yeah, the music is well performed, although a little haunting, like I said. And they continue on like this for several minutes. Let's say long enough for you guys to finish up your short rest, since you insisted on going before it was over. Guess I should have just told you it was done. And 7 comes crawling in along the ceiling behind you. Stealthily, you said, right?
I believe he did say stealthily.
Oh yeah, as quietly as possible.
All right. Why don't you give me a stealth roll? Let's see if you can enter the space. Unseen.
Jesus Christ.
He barreled in the room so aggressively.
Oh, it's a shame. Shame you can't take that second roll. Can you give me some reason why you would have advantage?
Didn't mean to roll 3 times. I suppose my mouse just got stuck. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the one. Oh God, that's even worse. Okay,
Yeah, I only meant to click it once. Sorry.
that's okay. I was gonna give you a second roll if you had a good logical reason for it, but I didn't even realize it was a 9 and 11, which won't make much of a difference. So, you kind of come in the room, climbing along the ceiling, and I don't know, kick into some tapestries that are hanging there, which makes a little bit of noise. But there is lots of singing, and people mostly seem to be focused on the far side of the room, so maybe nobody noticed. Yes, and you guys can roll hit die as well if you so
This is
desire.
about to be a lot of rolls.
I'll wait for everyone to roll first.
I just realized all of those rolls were private to you, Anthony. So no, you know I'm not bullshitting you. That was my bad. Here we go. Here's the. There we go.
And I should mention, especially since Seven is crawling along the walls here, there is like this large overhanging balcony that kind of juts off of the wall about 30 feet up, and overhangs the sort of the perimeter here of the entire space. Like I said before, you can hear the organ playing up there, and it's so loud and powerful that you can actually feel the vibrations right through the wall. Uh, Seven, as it kind of thunders away.
Can I get closer to where the organ music is coming from?
It seems to be coming from the balcony directly above you, based on how powerful the vibrations are.
I'll climb up that way then.
Okay,
What was
of
your
course you
stealth
will.
roll, by the way?
Now,
What'd you say?
What was your stealth roll, by the way?
I rolled a natural 1, so unfortunately, even with a stealth of 8, I'm not sure it helps much.
Gotcha. Well, let's see.
see if I can do this real quick. This map has a cool second layer here, but it's on this map, so of course didn't anticipate you guys splitting up. I don't know why. I should have.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh shit! Nice.
I wasn't kidding when I said balcony, big
That's
balcony.
super cool.
So you guys are underneath, and Seven, you come kind of crawling up over the railing here, and you find yet another face seems to be playing the organ.
All right, I'm gonna try to sneak up behind her.
Here it
It's gonna-
comes. The
it's
killing
gonna-
begins.
Freak her out.
If you cage the beast.
She caged the beast.
While he's doing that, can I try to just like sneak along the side closer to the front?
Cat's gonna look for some communal wine.
Some communal wine.
She has her priorities.
Um, You look around. There is this font of water that is rippling. Seems to have some sort of slight flow to it because it's constantly shifting and moving. And it is not water or not wine, unfortunately. You cast about. You don't see any convenient decanters there.
Damn. What kind of church is this? What is that up front? Oh, that looks red.
Vengeance would like to, like I said, sneak along towards the front, like close to the wall.
Sure. You were stealthing your way into the room, so you can kind of continue that. Seven, as you are approaching this girl on the bench, the organ music stops abruptly as she turns around. She seems to have noticed your approach somehow. You're not sure how you were being so quiet, and she was rolling with disadvantage. But even so, she seems to have maybe she noticed your reflection in some shiny lacquer on the organ. She turns to look at you with surprise and a hint of fear on her face as she realizes you are no face.
She stopped playing the music.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody still singing, or do they stop as well?
They continue on for a few beats, and then you hear the kind of one by one the voices falling silent.
Sure. I'll reach out a hand towards the face, and I'll just say, "Come with me."
I'm sorry. Who are you? What are you doing here?
I'm like you, just a prisoner.
You can see that there's a look of a look of recognition when you say that. Immediately followed by fear as you hear a voice echoing through the chapel saying, "Is something wrong? Why have you stopped playing? Did you lose your place again? We're on bar 68.
Would you like some help? I can distract them if you want.
Sorry, she probably got distracted by my lovely appearance down here.
In fact, there is something wrong. She's going to announce very loudly, echoing through the church in Zdarl. I need some wine. Do you know where some wine is, miss? She's asking this random face right here, not even paying attention to the one up front.
I'm just
She
hoping
looks up at she looks up at Kat and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Oh,
She's
no,
like, she
you're
doesn't even know
okay. That's okay. She pats her on the shoulder. How about you? And she walks over to her and asks her.
This one's completely silent. Like they seem dumbfounded to see somebody who is different coming in here.
Oh,
I
God.
see. I see.
Oh God, they're looking at Cat. Look, they look a little further back. Shit.
Me and my companions. Excuse us for interrupting what is no doubt a gorgeous, gorgeous melody, but I am in need of something.
the one who stands behind the lectern says, I had heard that we have guests in the academy. What can I do for you?
She leans against the railing, probably making it creak a little bit. I believe we probably need. What do you think we need? We need information. I think information would be good.
Information
believe-
is great.
Information is fantastic, as my companion here was eager to say. If you don't mind dismissing your choir for a moment, unless they want to stay and hear about all the current goings on in the realm of the Fey Queen, with which their faces will soon be the face of.
Mhm.
The faces. It is. It's quite a mouthful.
Ladies, why don't you retire to the salon? I will fetch you for the remainder of your lesson in a moment. And the girls start to kind of pick themselves up, and they put the hymnals down, and they start filing out as they depart. Can I get perception checks from the two of you? Ryland, what are you doing during all this, by the way?
When I came in, I would have probably just walked up to like the back pew and watched on, not doing anything like particularly engaging, just kind of observing it all.
Okay. You can give me a perception check as well.
Can he get his at advantage because he's only observing? He don't need it. Never mind.
No, you can't, but that's fine.
Wait.
As these faces file out past you, Ryland, they're like, kind of looking at you warily. Many of them have probably never even seen an elf before, let alone just somebody else in the academy. And same for Vengeance too. I mean, a lot of them, tieflings are not exactly common, so probably sort of doubly shocked by your appearances as you file out. But Ryland, on the way past, you realize you recognize one of these faces.
Iveta!
She looks different without the clothes and the braids that she wore when you first met her, but it's undeniably her because she also looks at you with wide eyes as she realizes that she knows you too. Let me see if I can find the correct one.
It's
Yeah.
one of these blonde-haired, blue-eyed women.
It's one of them.
Iveta
But you
Koliana.
recognize the face of Yeva, whom you witnessed at her choosing festival in Pravi,
I thought her name was
the
Iveta.
one that was interrupted by the attack of the many. She sees you, and as she walks past, she just quietly says, "What are you doing here?"
Oh, we're just here to take down the Fey Queen.
Grab her. Grab her.
She stares at you, and as she's going past, she just whispers as quietly as she can in your ear, "Find me later," and disappears through the door.
What is with Ryland having all these women in his life? What the hell?
She's like 14, bro.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Or 16. She's very young. I remember her being very young.
If I remember correctly, it was her 16th birthday.
I take my
That's-
statement back.
No. I'm not even gonna go there.
Just have to take it. You just have to take it in the worst way possible. Okay. These other faces are filing out. Yeva along with them. And The two of you now stand facing the one up behind the lectern. Meanwhile, this has bought Seven a moment or two here while the others seem to be distracted down below. And when this face realizes that she has a moment sort of alone with you without anyone else's attention, she looks at Seven and she says, "Go with you where? Where's there to go?"
You and I are going to play a different sort of song.
She stares at him. Strangest looking person she's ever met. And she looks kind of back at this massive organ that seems to tower over her. Almost seems about to like topple down on top of her. And she rises from the bench. She says, "I don't know what sort of melody you have in mind, but I'd rather sing just about anything else."
Sure. He walks her over to the edge of the balcony, where I suppose at this point we can see everybody else filing out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he places a firm hand on her back, just to let her know that she's, not like pushing her, but just to let her know that she's not allowed to just walk away.
For a second,
That she's-
For a second, I thought you were going to say shove her.
Well, before you laugh, we'll see what happens here.
Okay.
He's gonna if he sees a cat engaging the choir leader here in conversation, he's gonna pause and see what conversation is going on first.
God. Okay. He actually is going to push her over the edge. All right.
If it
Maybe.
comes to it.
Okay. Cat, Vengeance, you have the floor.
Our apologies for interrupting your choir practice. We just couldn't help but come in. You know, the singing was very beautiful and attractive, but we have some questions. Would you care to answer them?
I am not sure what
Get anything good? Oh, what do you already eat?
assistance I can be to you, but however I can, I shall.
Yeah.
All right, we need some information. So the panache is going to happen again.
Out of curiosity, what exactly are you doing when you're doing panache?
I'm just very smooth, okay?
You're like how so?
I'm fucking butter. I'm fucking butter.
Wow, holy shit, he's the most charming man on this planet, man.
I just pull out 2 Dos Equis from my pockets and most interesting man in the world, okay?
He has a cigar hanging from his mouth out of nowhere. He has his hair slicked back. He's good to go, man.
All right, so
Wow. That's all she said. Wow.
so seeing as we're all friends in this room, we just need some information about this facility and what actually goes on here.
What do you mean what actually goes on here? I mean, if you're guests of the Fae Queen, you must understand this place is an academy for the training of faces so that they can best serve the Fae Queen as her representatives and hosts throughout the realm.
Okay, you can cut the PR spiel. All right, let's just get to what actually goes on here.
It's no lie or deception. That is precisely what this place does.
Cat, elaborate the questions for me.
It can't be the only thing that happens. Since we're probably the two in our little group that can say this the most, we've had strange, I don't know, instincts, unconscious things that we have been doing since we arrived. He started humming with the singing. That's why we are here. I started to draw a map of the academy, and I just started to draw the face, your face.
Everyone's face kind of here, but that's another story.
Oh, thank. Mm.
It is
Just learning is not what is the only thing that seems to be happening. I think.
It is the blessing of the Fey Queen that you experience. We are all held close to her bosom here, and you begin to feel her presence in ways more direct than in the rest of the realm. It is why this place is so special, and why it is so important for the young women here to learn their lessons well.
And have you been used as one of her faces already?
I have had the great honor of being host to her presence, yes. It is a trial which all undergo before matriculating from the academy.
Matriculating. I see. And Kat is just going to idly walk around, peering at some of the papers and walking close to the altar. And what of us? What have you heard of us?
I have heard that you are to be treated as honored guests here in the academy, that you have traveled far and under dangerous circumstances. It must have been difficult to come so far north.
Look,
We lost many men in our journey up here. Vengeance, please.
look, we like Kat has already said, we have come a long way, and we've seen enough shit to know that this ain't a rainbow here. This ain't all glitter and happiness here. We know something's going on here that is not normal. And honestly, we don't have time for this, because sometime soon, or hopefully way later, the fake queen's gonna completely destroy the world. So we need some information on how to stop her. Is there anything here in this entire academy that can help us do that?
She looks down at Vengeance and she says, "It's strange. The Academy has had few guests in my tenure here. In fact, many of its current students have never known the arrival of a guest here. It's remarkable that you are the ones that she chooses to admit. You say that you want to destroy her, to stop her. You defy her, even though she wants nothing more than to disseminate her blessings to the people of this realm. Why?
Blessings. Yes, blessings.
Seven is soon enough. And he screams out from the top of the balcony, "Your master took some things from us. We'd like them back."
Look, along with wanting our stuff back, like he said, maybe she brought us here because she knows she needs to be stopped too.
What do you mean? What? That doesn't make any sense.
Neither does bringing someone that's trying to kill you into your home. Unless you know something is wrong in your home that needs to be killed.
I gotta beat it right now.
She
That's
kind of looks down at Vengeance, blinks strangely, says, "A most interesting theory.
You realize you still have both
Interesting.
bagels in the freezer, right?
Perhaps that's all it is. You're another
Okay, I was making
diversion.
sure.
Yes, that makes sense. Another diversion."
Yes, another diversion. Speaking of diversions, where
Okay.
is Anton Sobel?
I'm afraid that I can't address any more of your questions until I have given attention to your friend up on the balcony. She looks way across the way up to Seven standing there with the other face kind of pressed up against the railing. And she says, "I have no power to undo that which my master, as you call her, has decided shall be. However," and she pauses for a moment as she stares up at you. You see her face go a little bit blank. And then you hear the doors open. Down below you, Ryland, right behind you, the doors swing open. And you see another face come walking in.
Shocked. I'm shocked.
Shocked. Could you have predicted? Well, it's a face, Ryland, but as you
Oh,
look,
fuck.
it's different from any other face that you've seen here. She has sort of the right look to her, but she's notably about a head taller than all the other faces that you've seen come walking past, and she has some sort of blue. It almost looks like face paint or war paint or something that is smeared across her cheeks and the bridge of her nose. Her hair is done up in a high braid. And she's dressed not in the silken gowns that the others wear, but in much sort of heavier, bulkier looking clothing, as if she's just come in from out in the cold of the tundra. She's armed as well, you realize, with a sword at her hip and a large bow that is strung over her back. And where the hell is
Make
her
ramen?
token? Where'd she go? She's another Fey Queen face. So she's in this section.
Gross.
There we go. Looks like this.
Yeah. Won't eat them probably. Just probably won't eat them.
Oh, cool.
And she kind of marches right past you without giving as much as a second glance at Ryland. Makes her way into the middle of the hall here.
If as she walked by me, I would have gone. Excuse me, got a little something gesturing to the face.
She pays no attention to that and strides right into the middle of the room. She looks up at Seven, who's still standing there by the balcony, and she says, "Put the girl back. There is no need to endanger innocence with your boasting and bluffing."
Oh, I don't think he's bluffing. He will definitely push her. He will definitely push her.
Seven leans over to whisper into the face's ear that's next to him. And as he gets close, he says, "I'm sorry." And then he's going to bite her.
But I'll not eat them after I get
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of. No.
Hi, Scarlet. Welcome to the session.
It didn't
You
started.
want to roll some damage?
Holy shit.
Alright.
Thanks, bite. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I have
Oh
to
my
roll
god.
critical. So hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Well, I guess it's just, I'll just roll it manually.
I mean, I guess, Vengeance isn't going to react 'cause he's seen him do this before.
There we go. And as he bites into her and absorbs something from her, he shoves her over the edge.
All right. The crit card that I drew, just for kicks.
Oh right, I forgot we used those. My bad. Yeah.
Piercing damage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens to be maximum damage, which means that those 2d4 are both going to be 4s.
Oh, fuck.
4 total,
12.
12.
Oh, and if she's a commoner, she's probably fucking dead.
Well, let's see.
Oh god.
You don't have multiple attacks per round, right? You still have one attack per round.
No, I get 2 attacks per round.
Oh, you do have 2?
Yep.
Okay. In that case, in one swift movement, you bite into her neck. 12 points of damage is probably an incredibly grisly display. And then pushing her over the edge is more of a display than anything, because she's dead before she even hits the ground.
As she falls, Seven just says, "Your master's taken from us. I intend to take back until ours is returned. He doesn't sound like himself. He sounds to the rest of you who know him very well as if he's a bit cracked at the moment. There's just something off. His normal, he always kind of sounds gruff and terse, but there's a kind of wildness to his voice now that you don't usually hear.
Well, Kat is concerned. Well, Kat is concerned, but she's also going to, just in case, stand slightly, like immediately go right behind the face up here, and just stand with her like hands in front of her, looking at the lady in the center, just seeing what she does.
Yeah, as she watches this happen, you do see her flinch at the spray of blood that goes up when Seven bites right through her artery. And she doesn't move though, as the body topples over and lands with a sick crunch on the floor 30 feet below. And there's even, you think, as you're moving around to get behind her, you can see the look on her face, and there's hardness there. And you get the sense, Kat, that this is not her first time seeing someone die. And she just grips the lectern there as she looks back towards Seven. Doesn't even really seem to respond to you approaching behind her. The face in the middle of the room with the blue markings, meanwhile, is watching Seven, and you can see her clutching at the hilt of her sword. You can see that she wants to draw it, and she kind of grips it tightly. She seems to struggle for a moment. And then, all at once, the struggling stops. And she straightens up a little bit. Takes on a more measured, perhaps even a touch more graceful of a demeanor, as she says, "You don't like to play along much, do you?"
Jesus.
We never really do, Your Grace.
I don't think Nimbo's in the
And
room.
if Seven
I'm not.
tries to
I
wait
promise.
her out, eventually she'll respond again. "I could have, you know. But I didn't."
Sorry, what? She could have what?
You
Maybe
were
I missed
all
it.
lying right there on the ice. I could have. But you've been so interesting. So much fun to watch. And she looks down at the dead woman lying on the ground. "You don't like to play along. I suppose that's part of why did leave you alive. Carol seems to be thinking to herself, kind of going a little more introspective. Everyone's always. Yes, 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 this, that. Always. The answer is yes. But you lot. You say no. How much of that did you get? Because I just now realized my video connection went to crap.
I got all of it.
Yeah, I got all of it.
Good.
Seven, were you gonna say something there?
But you want me to say something?
Oh, I thought you were going to.
Sure, Seven will say something. Seven will say, I think you've misunderstood something. We're not your toys. But if you want to continue playing, I'm happy to play with yours.
Is anyone else shocked by this? Because I think Kat is fucking shocked and a little terrified right now.
I think
Seven with that will start to crawl slowly over the balcony and start to pace down the balcony and down the walls. He's not rushing. He's moving deliberately and slowly, staring down at the Fey Queen, grinning. He looks at the moment, if anything, like a predator. Like there's almost like a wild beast, I guess, stalking his prey. And he doesn't seem to, he's normally restrained. Again, it just strikes you as odd. It looks like he's cracked a bit.
Yeah, I think Kat is like mumbling under her breath, and she's gonna leave from behind this face, and she's gonna start walking, like a little hurried, but kind of keeping her distance, watching, seeing what Seven is doing.
Okay. He's down off the balcony. You know what? I'm gonna swap the map again real quick. It's a little easier to see what's happening on the ground floor here. Yeah, he comes crawling down and he's unhurriedly approaching. You Seven, as you're approaching this one in the middle, we'll just call her Blue for the moment. You can see again that she's like grappling with her own sword as if she was trying to pull it from its sheath to wield it, to bear it at you. And yet she seems unable to do so, and the blade remains in its sheath even as you're slowly approaching.
He's slowly stalking forward, grinning, and he says, "Don't bother with the blade. It won't help you."
Seven, I think that's just another face.
Seichik, what are you doing?
Stay out of this, Cat.
The faces are not our enemy here.
They're all hers. You've seen it. They're her pawns, her tools.
Killing a tyrant's slaves doesn't hurt the tyrant.
Seven continues slowly stalking towards the woman in the middle.
Yeah, you can see that there's a strange and discordant series of emotions that are flickering across her face. You can see like momentary fear and even rage there in her eyes, but it is quickly supplanted by a sort of wide-eyed look of fascination. She glances back at Vengeance and Cat coming forward. She looks down at Seven
ramen.
stalking her way, and she just keeps flicking back
I don't
and
really
forth
like the
between
veggies
like
in it.
fear and something like amusement as the group of you kind of converges on her, still frozen, clutching that sword. And she says in a voice that's a little shaky, "I like this one a lot. What will you do to this one?"
Ben's just gonna step in front of the tall one. Seven, you are just playing her game at this point. Killing her will do nothing except make it more fun for her in the end.
So you're interposing yourself
Yes.
with this woman.
Oh,
Seven stalks forward, but he was sort of almost prowling forward, punched forward a little bit, looking very aggressive. But you do see him slowly straighten up as he approaches you, and he looks at you quizzically, maybe even tilts his head a little bit, and he says, "What then? Just continue to play along? Continue to be chained? I won't be chained."
That's the thing, Seven. You're chain playing her game exactly how she wants.
Zaychik, we are trying to, and she's going to slowly approach with her hands up. We are trying to free these people, trying to help them, trying to have them see a better way. You, we don't need to. And you and Seven would probably see Cat's eyes flicker down to the face on the ground. We don't need to do this. These girls, they all had names. They had families. They are innocent here. They are just caught up and playing this game. They are the ones chained.
They are sheep. Nothing more.
And you being a fucking predator hunting them makes you any better than her?
Seeing both of you really pleading a strong case here, Seven sighs heavily. He crosses his arms and he glares. And whatever aggression he had a moment before, it seems like he's pulled it back. He's restraining it. But you can't tell for how long, right? He looks like he's definitely on edge. But for the moment you seem to have stopped whatever was overcoming him. You've at least given him pause.
And
But he's
seeing-
waiting. But he's waiting to see what you're gonna do next. He's just standing there with his arms crossed, glaring at you both.
And seeing that, Cat is going to rush over to the girl collapsed on the ground and kind of arrange her body, like place her hands over her chest and close her eyes and try and hide the wound on her neck a little bit and look up towards the face in the center, seeing her reaction to all this.
She is watching. You can see her eyes kind of darting back and forth between Seven and you. And she waits until Kat has sort of finished arranging the body. And she says, "Thank you. It's difficult enough watching one die."
There can be far worse fates than just dying, you know. Not having anyone to go back to, feeling chained and pressed and kept under a thumb that no one asked for. That I never knew that I could. I know and think that you think that nothing is wrong here, that nothing is is bad, that you're doing your best, and everyone's just resisting the very worst. But all these things, all everything we have seen have said that everything that we've seen has said that you will end this all. You will cause more harm than good. And look at this. Look at all these girls taken from their
So I'm
families.
at 173.
The
at
many
407.
all of those fake creatures, their lives and civilizations destroyed. My own family, my grandfather, Radovan, in my own sword. I had no idea for years. And I saw him, I spoke to him. And he said that it was you who did this. I grew up under your yoke, and I thought that you were benevolent. I thought you were the goodness that we could all rely on one day, but I see this and I can't believe it anymore.
You speak, Cat, and as you're saying these words, you can see the Fey Queen's face falter for a moment. There's a slip there, and her mouth quivers, and then you can see something glint in the corner of her eye. She reaches up one hand and wipes it away. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Jesus. Oh man.
Cat, you sense, you know somehow that the Fey Queen is going to speak a moment before she does. And for a moment, you swear you can even hear the words in your head. But you shut them out. instinctively, you know that they're not your thoughts, not your words, and you brace yourself against them, even as you feel your own mouth wanting to form those thoughts aloud. But instead, those words come out of the one in the middle. As she says, I've tried. I've tried for a very, very long time. I've tried to help people. I've tried to do good things for people. Tried to make them understand. I've tried to make them I've tried to feel the same way that it felt in the beginning. And I've listened, you know. I've listened to everyone, and I've listened to him. I'll be a good queen. You know, that's what I've said to myself every moment. Be a good queen to them. I won't hurt them. I'll build them cities. I'll build them roads. I'll give them food. I'll make their lives so easy that they'll have nothing in their hearts but love. But they're scared of me. They're always scared of me. Whenever I get close, they're always scared. No matter how long they've been here. No matter And then there's the people who don't understand at all. And they just want to fight and kill and wage this war of anger. And he's shown me the ways that it's necessary, you see, to fight back. The ways that I can't let them win. The ways I have to preserve myself so that I can do more good. So that I can keep helping people.
Who is he?
You know who he is.
What is the term? The path to hell is paved with good intentions? Yes?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You mean the path to
Yes.
vengeance is home?
Hey. Not now. It's a moment.
The path to hell is paved with good intentions and sacrifice. As much of a good queen you want to be, yeah, the cities you've built, well, we've seen them. No one lives in them. They squabble over the meal, the food. The roads are cut right through the mountains, disrupting the nature, and it is not your fault. It's almost as if you, it's almost as if it's it's almost as if you are a, and she kind of looks a little guilty, almost saying it out loud, almost as if you were a child. Trying to help people, yeah, that is very good. That's great. Only love in their hearts, but that is not how people are. People always want war and conflict, and we only do our best. But but not letting them win and preserving and helping more people that will come to fear you. That that doesn't seem right to me. I, despite everything, despite all the things that I've seen, despite everything that everyone has told me, I wanted to believe that you were the best of us because that is what I knew. That is what I believed. And Piet. And you see Kat kind of rubbing her eyes aggressively for a moment. But him. It seems like maybe it all came from him. We do not know. Who is he? What is he to you? Not just an advisor. Is he something more? Something less?
He's the first one who found me after she died.
And at this point, does she look like she's like still emotional, or she's like crying, or does she look somber?
You can see, I mean, you've seen what happens when the Fey Queen takes possession of somebody. And you can see that she seems almost like she's slipping in and out of it. Like every couple of moments there's a break and her demeanor shifts, and the kind of the that more of a like a almost like an a hunter's kind of stance and posture kind of comes over her for a second, and then she's like, then she gets taken again and sort of adopts this new stance and says a few more words, and then there's a pause and she breaks in and out, um, and you can see that it must be like some sort of ordeal because there's tears streaming from the corners of her eyes, that she's not making any move to disguise them.
Um, with that, Kat is going to gently kind of nudge Vengeance to give her some room, and Kat is going to hesitantly reach out a hand and touch her arm. Calm yourself. We are just trying to understand. Please. Who died? Who is he? We know so little.
She looks at Kat for a second, but you see that her eyes sort of look past her. And she steps around Kat. Approaches Seven. And she says,
Feel better now.
"You want to stop playing games?"
Seven glares at her. Just says, "I don't want to stop. I never started. You've just been misbehaving."
She looks him dead in the eye, right into his little glasses. She says,
I saw you come online.
"If they hadn't been here to intervene, would you have killed this one too?"
You already know the answer to that. I'll take everything you have until we're free.
She nods. Good. Come with me then. And she starts walking out of the hall.
Yeah. Seven's Seven looks relieved almost, and he turns to follow.
Cat is gonna tug on Seven's like sleeve for a second. Zajic?
He's still walking, but you know he slows enough that you can speak to him, right? He's not ignoring you.
Zajic, what was that? You bit? You. And she looks down at the corpse as we both walk past. I just don't understand.
She's Seven. He doesn't turn to look at you. He just says in a low voice, not a whisper, but a low voice. He says, "Not now."
And reluctantly, Cat lets his sleeve go and just follows.
And the Fey Queen steps out the door. And if you follow her, she begins to march through the halls.
Following the leader, the leader.
She leads you token here somewhere. Back in the direction you came. You see her marching along, and as she does so, you see doors begin to open as other faces begin to file out of various rooms into the hallway, following along with her. There are dozens of women who come marching along in her wake on either side of you, behind you, sort of all interspersed with the six of you. And more seem to keep coming. They flood through wide open doors. You see a glimpse of a massive, elaborate throne room. And Nimue, hello.
Hello.
You can give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
All right. You look through the doors and you see, at first glance, a throne room that seems impossible, massive in scale, with a ceiling so high that you can't even see it. And there, what looks like a mile distant, you can barely make out a seat upon a raised platform. Behind it, you see a wall that seems to be made of shifting patterns and colors slowly undulating. You can't even take it in or understand what it is that you're looking at before you blink and you realize that it was some trick on your eyes. There is a throne room there, but it is much smaller. It looks, even though in any other palace it would be considered grand, it looks pitiful compared to what you just laid eyes on, and so ordinary with its fancy gold filigree and its marble checkered floor. As you continue along, you see also the doors opening up into a massive space. It looks like a great theater or concert hall with hundreds of chairs, vacant now as their occupants are joining the flow of women all marching along. You see that there's another face standing up on a stage that seems to be sheathed in ice, and she just stands there and stares at you through the open door as you march past. As you continue on your way, You see others now coming from the opposite direction, bearing, you realize, your weapons and your gear. As they meet with you in the hall, they begin to equip you, strapping your sword belt around your waist, Cat, offering Vengeance his blades, Ryland his symbol of Eldath, and his staff. 7. They place the crown upon your brow, and then shove the hazmat hood over that.
Oh, thank God.
Now 7. Vengeance. Cat will reach into her boot and hand you the flask of wine. After taking a generous pull herself.
Gonna send it as well, and gonna die today. Might as well die a little happier.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Holds the wine up. Anyone else? No one else?
No, I'm good. Not
Name
really
way
my thing.
7. Name way 7.
yeah. If there's a little bit left.
What?
If there's a little bit left.
What is it you're offering?
Cat's
My
Cat's
emergency
boot wine. Hey, I'm gonna hand it to Nimue.
She'll totally take a sip.
What's our Xantum friend's name again?
Soren.
Soren. What is his reaction to all this? I know we can't see behind the mask, but like, has he just been sitting there dumbfounded?
I mean, he's been silent pretty much this entire time. Ever since you left the salon and went into the chapel, he's just been dead silent. And of course, you have no idea what he's thinking behind that mask. But he continues to follow along.
Soren, what does the undying of Xantum have to think about all this? Out of curiosity.
I'm not sure that any prominent figure of Xantum has ever had the opportunity to observe the Fey Queen up close. It seems that she is very, very inconsistent and clearly unstable. You put it well when you called her a child.
Is an accurate assessment, I suppose.
Now that we're all re-equipped, 7 just speaks out loud as if talking to all of the all of the people around him at once, but he's just like, where do we find him?
He is close. Too close for me to touch. And there's something about the way she chooses her words, 7. You don't need an insight check to understand that she's not just talking about physically. But she and many others begin leading you out of the palace, down an icy, winding path that leads off of the little mount here. There is a sort of almost like a small castle at the base of the mountain that blocks the road, defends it, but the gates stand open. The turrets apparently unmanned as she marches you through an empty courtyard and down into the great empty city that she's built. As you move through the streets, you see that the places, no citizens, no commoners, no guards, no merchants, no nobles, nothing of the sort. Occasional wild animal, a single white-furred wolf trots down the empty streets, sees you, and strangely enough joins the procession. And then, as you make your way through the heart of the city, you begin to see lights. Those beams of light, like the ones that you spied from a distance when you first came upon this place. They peer down from high windows, balconies, out of doors. You see figures clad in clothes, furs, things that looks like have been foraged from the wilderness around here, but out from under their fur-lined hoods and from behind scarves, you see no faces, only shining lights, which beam at you as you march past them. The procession makes its way now to the edge of the water.
Hey, Nimue, out of curiosity, does that little circle thing that Auntie fingers? Do you have any idea of where our lovely aunt is?
Auntie thinks she's still alive.
I was thinking about checking up on her because yeah, we could see what's over on our side. Yeah, I'll go look through my little thing, my little circle from my fiance.
You look through the little circle and you see yourself from a great distance. You can see the parade, it almost looks like from here, although there's no excitement or joy of a parade as this solemn procession is making its way through the streets. It seems that she's somewhere up high, looking down upon you, upon this sea of golden-haired heads with the few of you in the middle of it. And the head turns, and you can see now that you're looking down upon a handful of your remaining forces. They seem to be huddled in and around a couple of buildings at the very edge of the city. And although they're not in a position to see you or be seen by you, you can tell that they're at the ready. And then one long, pointy blue finger lays itself alongside that nose that protrudes from the middle of your vision and just slides up, pokes right into your eye, and you find yourself looking back through your own.
So weird when she does that. She says to herself, she looks pretty relieved though. She's like, Ketchan, our army is nearby. And Auntie is watching.
It's good. Maybe. What do you think? Bring them in? Seems like we are approaching the end game, as it were.
I feel like maybe we
Okay,
should
Marvel.
think vengeance. I mean, Usagi isn't too far off the mark. Time, right?
Yes, maybe we should bring them. Seems the appropriate time. Do we have any way of sending a message?
I hear shouting works very well.
Yeah.
That's true. Ryland, could you assist?
You want me to send a message to who?
Our guys are
Oh.
many.
Ron, you have a very booming, majestic voice. Just yell as loud as you can. I'm sure they're gonna hear it.
Or do that. Whichever you think is best for this situation. Seems very quiet here.
Let's see. How far can a yell be heard?
I just realized Zotac is probably dead, isn't he? Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you're in
right.
like an empty crystal city, so I'm guessing there's quite a lot of resonance.
The question is answered by Guinness World Records. The normal, intelligible outdoor range of the male human voice in still air is 596 feet.
See, the mistake is you said normal. We're talking about Ryland here.
Like around here?
Well, it's just got to be part of that because I can still thaumaturgy from there.
So, in here at the south too.
And
Right about here?
thaumaturgy is three times as loud. Your voice booms up to 3 times as loud as normal.
3 times. So.
It sort of implies it would go 3 times further. That's how sound works, right?
Yeah, right.
It's not bad.
Anthony, that's a GM call. That if I think I could thaumaturgy that and just send a message. Because
Well,
Ryland
not as
has
if
no preference in keeping this quiet right now.
I mean, from what Nimue told you about where they are, you think you could probably shout that far.
Well, I'm gonna shout that far then.
All right.
Oh, I forgot it. Cat, what should I tell him?
Come here.
Okay, short sweet.
Many come
No,
here.
no. So Ryland's just gonna face up outward and just go, Ryland Delo here! Come on down!
Can't miss us. The only ones here.
Oh my fucking eardrums every time. Ow.
What?
Huh?
What?
Man. No.
The procession finally comes to a halt here on the banks of the Grand Whirl. And the Fey Queen begins to speak to you, now not through one mouth, but through hundreds of mouths. They speak softly, and yet the sheer number of them makes their whispers come out unnaturally loud and from everywhere at once. Couldn't do it myself, you see. He's the only one who knows. The only one who's ever known. The only one who was never scared to be close. I was always afraid of what would happen if he was gone. I've watched him fight. I've watched him kill so many. I think a part of me has hoped that he still lives. He's told me to kill you. So many times. At Lymadnum, he wanted me to bury the city in rock, to spew fire from the forges, from the very stone beneath you. He wanted me to flood the tunnels. But I kept thinking about that you were the only ones who came into my court and seemed to listen to me, not merely to appease me. You reminded me of him in a way, in that way. Couldn't do it. He wanted me to crush you in Olgus, on the Titan's path. He told me to do it again here, amidst the ice. I killed his friend and rival, as he bid. But I couldn't bring myself to follow his every word to the end. When you are like me. You feel so many things through so many people. I've become a part of so many. This land and all who dwell in it feel it when they pass. She shakes her head. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I hope that you can do the things that I've never been able to bring myself. And as she says this, you see the ice begin to rise up and take on a familiar form, at least to some of you. Those of you who were at least conscious to witness it at one point or another. And this icy statue-like figure raises a hand. And as she does so, you can see moisture, water beginning to stream right out of the air and form itself into a pathway. It snakes out and weaves back and forth along the half-frozen ocean, stretching all the way to the island in the middle. Thraxmunder shall pay you no mind, as long as you walk this path. And then she and her many, many faces step aside and clear the way.
I don't suppose before we go fight your battle, you could heal us a little bit.
She considers that. And she says, I've been able to spare you from death, yes. Perhaps I can call upon something else. Let me see here. What is healing magic under? What school is that?
Typically divine, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick.
Sounds like a
what-
No,
divination.
evocation. Evocation.
It is evocation. Okay, I thought so.
Oh, I know, it's so cute. I got one of those.
She's going to
Zyklazar, yeah.
try to give you guys
Pretty sure, if I
a little
read it
bit of a
earlier,
boost.
the Lit Leo turns into Pyroar.
Little bump.
Yeah.
A little, just a small bump, as Safine would say. She's not technically capable of doing that. She can do that, however. I think she is literally going to give you just a small bump. She can do aid. She can't do the same kind of healing magic that Ryland can, for example. Actually, wait, that's not... Oh shit, that's not the school I thought it was. Oh. Well, that fits. She's going to do that. And that's much more Fey Queen than aid, anyway. She is going to touch a hand to the ground, and you see that the ice begins to crack and break, and something comes jutting out of it. It is a somewhat translucent, frosty looking sapling that begins to rise up out of the earth and spread out its branches, and you can see thin little frosty translucent leaves appearing on it, as well as what look like small fruits made of ice. She plucks them, offers you each one.
Okay. I guess we're gonna bite into the eye.
Nom nom.
I suppose.
You bite into them, if you so choose, and you taste just a hint of that sweetness of the meal pits for a second, but you do feel rejuvenated. And you each are gonna get back some hit points. It's essentially a very souped up good berry. Each of you is going to get back 20 hit points.
We took a short rest too.
You did take a short rest, yes.
Only 4 points from maxing.
Well, if we're just
Much
sitting
better.
here before we go, might as well just use one of my channel divinities.
I mean, if this is gonna be a long walk across, would that be considered another short? No, no.
Light exercise, walking across the bridge.
Okay,
Do
everyone
you
else get
not
back
have-
11 more.
You can literally roll all of your hit die when you...
Oh no, I already did that. That's why I made the joke.
In case you guys missed that, everyone gets back 11 more.
Ooh,
Perfect.
full health. Sweet. And that's gonna matter in 5 seconds.
What are you talking about? This is Sobel, right? I mean, I can't imagine what else is gonna be over there.
I mean, there was a dragon we couldn't see, apparently.
Well, we're gonna go past him. She said he's not gonna bother us.
maybe everyone should take this opportunity to also fill their shoes with rocks, in case he does that thing where he throws us up again. That way you might have a better chance to stand on the ground.
I don't think that's how that works, Ryland.
It might not, but you know, live and let learn, you know? Live, laugh, love.
You know, you really do have a good point with that, actually. What are we gonna do if he decides to reverse gravity on us again?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
No, I just said Seven says that he's got it covered. Don't sweat it.
Perfect. I was gonna like make up some bullshit with some hooks or something like that. We can hook ourselves to the ground. Like, what if we just get ice boots and we just put hooks on them?
Well, and I guess in a worst case scenario, we can always, or at least I can always, you know, be safe in the arms of an angel.
Does that angel happen to have a name, by the way?
No,
Yeah,
he's just
Seven's
angel.
boyfriend.
Yeah, please bring the angel back. The same one, if you can.
Yes, does he have a name?
No, I just call him Angel. I keep it simple. It's not like we're co-workers.
Have you asked him if he has a name?
No, never really seen
You
him
kind of
chat
are
time.
co-workers, aren't you?
I don't know if I'd say that.
Okay. Okay. This is careful.
Don't you tell me how to live my life.
Okay, buddy.
Hope you hit your arm power next time.
This is gonna take me a minute or two here to make sure this is ready.
Well, that's
'cause
not
I
fine.
think
You take your time.
I
So
think
does anyone
you
have
guys
any-
you guys have earned it, but I think you've also gone about this a different way than I prepared for.
I mean, we're not exactly the most conventional group, are we?
No. I do think you've earned this though.
So, does anyone have any last requests?
Yeah, right.
Bucket list? Yes? Vengeance? You're doing such a good job.
Yeah, Vengeance. I'm really excited to see you on the other side of this thing.
Me too. Do you want the hug?
Cat, just for you. Come here. Come here. I'll give you a hug.
Come here.
Device.
Tobias. I've been forgetting to throw. I think maybe Kat's accent is lessening. That's why I'm not using as much Russian. She's spending too much time with you guys, and now she's starting to lose her accent. That's what's going on.
Maybe one day you'll be lucky and end up sounding a little bit like me.
What's that? Like you?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
I
you'll
would
pick
be.
up
I
on my
would be.
accent.
I would be honored to sound like you. Right.
Anyone would be.
Oh.
I mean,
Nice.
even sometimes I wish I sounded like Vengeance. That's a man who knows what he's talking about at all times. The confidence he projects with the bravado in his voice.
Yes. Ah, I am vengeance, and I am a brood. Yes.
I hate you all.
Mine was
You
a
are so
compliment.
inspiring. That was a compliment.
Except Nimoy. Nimoy's cool.
Yes, she is cool.
You're pretty cool too.
Could I braid your beard one of these days? I really think you would look good with the 2 little points on either end. Yes? You know what? We should get you a really big hat. Like a big fur hat.
That's
Like
my
the
normal
ones-
Why?
Like the ones I imagine the 7 in sometimes, you know?
Why do I need a fur hat?
Because it is manly.
It's like all the rage up here.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this basically just fur? As he says, messing with his hair.
Well, you need big fur. You need a bigger hat.
People will you.
Oh, ridiculous! I swear to God.
What do you mean? I think Ryland would look good with a big hat too.
I would love a big hat.
See?
You know, as they say, the bigger the hat, the closer to God.
I thought that was the taller the man.
Well, don't worry, I'll hold you
Oh,
up if
yes.
you need to get a little closer, Vengeance.
And yes, the big hat would make you look
Yeah.
taller too.
I still don't believe in God.
Well, that's okay, you can just believe in Eldeath.
That's the same thing.
I mean, God, Dave, there's a little bit of difference.
That is
You mean
literally
big goats?
tomato.
I'm
You
pretty
say
sure there
tomato?
are
It's
many
tomato.
different gods. Have you seen the big angel he summons? Do you think that is not from one of the gods?
I've seen an Aesir before.
What? That is. Mm-hmm. Do you not believe in devils too?
What do you got to say now, Vengeance?
In the religious sense, no. Do I believe there's a race?
Oh,
Yes.
oh, the religious sense, of course, of course. I cannot imagine any religious sense, not just showing up and maybe tempting some humans and maybe interbreeding with them, and then
Look.
who knows?
I get.
Who knows what things get weird,
Look, I get.
I
Some
hear
some
demons are very
demons came from the.
too, you know?
I get some demons came from a different plane. Had their way with some
Oh,
women over
different
here, and that's how I'm
plane.
here. I get that. Okay, I know where I'm from.
You are adorable. You really are. Is that a little blush? Are you blushing right now? I can't tell with your cheeks so red.
Skin is red cat.
Who would have known that this whole adventure would turn out this way? Yes.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Hey, look, Cat, all I'm saying is, first bar, whole tabs on you.
On me, I have to pay the many. I have to pay not the many, the Ursa.
Yeah, and you have to pay for us dealing with this bullshit in your home.
How is any of this my fault?
It's not our fault. You lived here at least, so you're the closest to the problem.
I left.
Because you ran away from the problem.
Okay, admittedly, you have a very good point there, but still, that's a dickish thing to say.
I mean,
I
we
still
should
like
go to a tavern after all this is over.
Yes, we could go to Visigrad. Hmm. Well, actually, I should probably check and make sure my men aren't all dead. But still,
It's been like a few weeks, Cat. If they're not dead yet, then hopefully we've already won this.
it has been a day.
Not since we started this trip.
It's been a while since you started.
Oh, yes.
The
But the
siege.
siege takes a long time. It's fine.
Just imagine like in the background, Anthony has like a tracker of like, how many are dying today?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
Cat leans forward and whispers, "Yeah, I told Naz to sacrifice the many first before the Ursa. So let's see how it goes."
Makes sense.
I'm more worried about Uncle Lev and Hasmahilda, honestly. But you know,
You guys have had no word about anything happening there. God, this is the worst. This one is absolutely the worst.
so let's see how that goes. Maybe, maybe Mikhail will be the only Melnikov left. Yes,
Oh no.
or maybe one of my cousins.
They're some of the best we
Yeah,
have.
what was the pretty one's
Look,
name?
Which one?
The pretty one.
They were both pretty.
The woman.
Oh, that is a great question. Let me pull it up. Um, Paulina.
Oh,
Paulina.
Paulina. Such a pretty name.
Yeah, Paulina. She got mauled by a bear.
And still gorgeous.
I know. Uncle Lev has some very strong genes. I've never seen so many blonde people in my life. I swear. Oh, besides, obviously, and she points behind her.
I like to think you guys are just noshing on this fruit and having this conversation. Oh,
Just mouth full. Oh yeah, you're pretty.
The
Meanwhile,
other
the
thing I
Fey Queen and all of her faces are standing there like, didn't we just get this whole speech about how they have to save the world and now they're doing this?
hey, did she say anything about saving the world?
Hey,
No.
save the girl, save the world.
Mm.
In this sense, literally.
Do you think any of these women would be interested in Mikhail?
No, but I'm sure we can find someone for vengeance if he's interested in any of them.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
There's not like that much variety, but you know.
They're not my.
There's
They're
not
not my
much-
type. They're not my type.
What are your
Not
type,
even the big
Vengeance?
hunter lady?
Maybe we can keep an eye out for your type once
That,
you know we
that,
get
that
out
is
of
a
here.
What
That
would I
is a
do
good
with the big
question.
water lady, Cat?
no, the big hunter.
Oh, I thought
Hunter.
you said big water. My bad. Your accent is a little hard sometimes. I'm sorry.
Wow, I bet it was uncalled for, but okay, fine.
I wasn't being rude. I was just
No,
made a
actually,
statement.
it's okay. I'm just gonna go over here
No.
now. Stop being so easy to tease. Oh, wait. So, Vengeance, you still have not told us what kind of a person you were interested in.
Yeah, do they need to look like you, or are you interested in something like other races? Maybe a little more angelic.
Well, you know.
Oh, yes. Do you have an ASMR kink?
No. What? Is that a thing? Hold up. Is it actually a thing?
What?
People have
An
kinks
ASMR?
off. No, people have kinks off fucking different races. That's weird.
Yes, absolutely.
If there's anything you can imagine, I'm sure.
Not
Absolutely.
true that it's have kink works.
I mean,
Really?
honestly, have you seen the way the orcs have, like, they have orcs, they have tusks and everything? Imagine what they could do.
Do with what?
Tusks!
I don't know where you're
Am I crazy?
A little bit, Cat. Yeah, that sounds very painful. No matter what way my mind takes it.
I mean, right?
Well, I mean, it won't be your mind taking it.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh no. Over. Oh. You had something to say, Anthony?
Don't try and get out of this, Vengeance.
God damn it.
Oh, is it you are more interested in the opposite team?
No. Sorry. I do prefer the women. First of all.
Why did you apologize to me?
Did I apologize to you?
You're being
I feel
weird.
like I gotta get this moving along. This conversation is getting weirder and weirder. Uh,
Look, simply enough, I just prefer my women strong and beautiful. Simple as that.
So you're in the Nimue.
Anthony, if you feel like you need a lot more time to prep this, I think I don't know, we could just end this and resume next week.
Yeah, we're pretty close right here at the time anyway.
We're also
I know. I
fine
mean,
bullshitting.
there's no sense to rushing it if you still have some prep to do.
yeah. I apologize, guys. I think this is a valid direction for it to go, but it's not the direction I prepared for. And I'm definitely scrambling a little bit here.
We are. No one here is in a rush, man.
Yeah. Maybe it would be best if I was able to prepare this a little bit more, because I don't want to. This is definitely coming up to. This is it. I don't want to come into it kind of half-assed and backwards. So, yeah, maybe that's for the best. Yes, we will end dramatically with the Fey Queen raising a path for you, the Ghost Light. She seems to want you to do the thing that she cannot do, cannot even seem to bring herself to say to do. And she seems to have been shaken up quite a bit by your words and your actions both. So much so that you've broken the illusion of her game, her toying, and find that you have a way forward. And that where we will conclude things for the moment. Yeah, apologies if the session was a little bit all over the place. I'm a little bit all over the place right now, so
That's good. You have a nice holiday here to reset on, Anthony.
yeah, you too. Please, everyone, enjoy your Thanksgivings and your week.
It's a wonderful time not to be a Thursday session.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, man. I definitely give thanks that I found this group to play with. It's been a real treat for the last few years. Appreciate you all.
Oh,
Nick, you're gonna make me cry, man. Shit.
we love you, buddy.
No, it's great, man. You guys are the best. I look forward to this every week.
No,
You guys
you're
are
the best.
Yeah, you guys are great. This has been one of my one of the best, most consistent things I've had going for a while, so I really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys sticking with me for so long, sticking with me through such an incredibly long and twisty turny story arc, and through all the weirdness.
Oh, you think it's weird now, Anthony? Wait till we get to the Goliaths playing musical instruments that are magical.
Yes!
I can't wait.
Yes.
We're gonna teach Vengeance how to
You put that
dance.
you put that plot thread in our hands, Anthony. Now we're gonna tug it.
The magic musical instruments.
Hey, look, I also know that fucking Kevin here really wants to see the flying gnome cities.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, come on, that's pretty fucking cool.
Maybe we
that
could hitch
one-
a ride on them to the desert.
Yeah.
That'd be so
It-
cool.
Honestly, Shimmerwin and the roving cities would be one of the easier things for me to do, because the other group is also in that setting right now. So
Maybe we could have a cross, little
across
A cross session.
All I'm saying, Anthony, is we beat Sobel, and then the clouds just seemingly part, and this massive city descends upon us. Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's definitely definitely time to start thinking about what comes after this, because this is going to be over real soon. Definitely before the end of the year. So, um, so
I
yeah,
mean,
there's
Japan with huge dragon lizards sounds pretty cool.
That
I
also
don't know
does
about you.
sound fun.
I mean, Nimue and my character have also mentioned that like ships would be great again.
Yeah.
ships would be great.
Some pirate
Ships?
adventures.
Oh,
Yeah, because her and I have spent time with pirates.
oh man, pirate. As long as there's no singing.
There's always singing. It's a ship, my
No,
guy.
no, you don't
You can't
understand.
sing.
Man. Singing, but like regular singing's fine. But
But
No
never-
shanties.
I need to bust out the sea shanties I know.
No, we can
I
do
know, like,
shanties. I've
8 of
unbanked,
them.
I've unbanked shanties from this game.
You have?
Yep,
You have?
shanties are unbanked.
Okay. As long as I don't know,
Ooh.
give us a shanty.
What?
Give us a shanty.
That
Do
is-
it,
I
Vengeance.
want to hear.
No,
it.
Shanty
no.
time.
Nope. Needs to be the setting. Period.
See, he already made it better. I'm sorry.
What?
Nothing.
Shanties
Don't
are
worry about it.
Oh, did he not use it in the right setting?
Oh no. It was
I wanna talk
an
about
old
it.
character loved to sing.
Oh no.
I want to talk about it. Angry to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there is the oh my god, my brain is not working anymore. The Empire of the Isles, which is the Nimue's home, and home to many ships, being an empire of isles. Ships and lots and lots and lots of sea serpents, as we've established. One of the only things we've established about the Empire of the Isles is they have lots of sea serpents. That might be interesting. I would love to touch upon the Xantam Empire a little bit too. We've talked so much about it. We've kind of skirted along the edge of
So
it.
cool.
The Undead Empire.
I would feel kind of weird doing that without Safine.
I know
That's
that's
true.
that's the only
Yeah.
part that kills me, is just like, ugh, the thing that would be the best to have Mark here for.
Yeah. Plus, we could go to his club.
We
Oh,
could.
yeah.
No matter where we go, we're gonna end up teaching Vengeance how to dance.
I didn't know Vengeance
Oh,
can't
yeah.
dance. His performance is
It-
very high, thank you.
Can't
That doesn't
dance.
mean you know how to
We've
dance.
seen you move in combat.
That-
You don't have the
Yeah.
hips.
That doesn't mean you know how to.
I
dance.
have the fanciest footwork out of everyone except Nimue.
That doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean you know how to dance. That means you know how to fight like you're dancing.
That's really all Nimue does. So.
Yeah, but Nimue can dance.
I'd
She
like
can
to
dance if she
believe
wants to. She can leave her friends
Mhm,
behind.
mhm.
'Cause if they don't dance, and when they don't dance, and no friends of mine.
No.
Well done.
And that's it.
Stop.
Look, we have a list of things to do after we settle up things in the Fae Kingdom.